We're at the halfway point with 3 out of the 4 traitors still in the game. But how are they actually doing? The British Army engineer has really taken to this game like a duck to water. A massive asset when it comes to the challenges and a very unsuspected traitor.
Harry was my strong choice that I had. There's no task he isn't any good at.
God, that's so much gold. He's got so much. That's it. Come on, Harry! Yeah! Harry!
Like the recently banished Johnny said in an interview, Harry has been given a mission and is carrying out those orders. Harry has managed to find a good balance between voicing his opinion but not sowing too many seeds to be suspected. His only mistake could be telling Paul what Jazz told him. To recap, Jazz told Harry that if he was murdered, then Paul is a traitor. I'm sure Harry didn't think Paul will go running to Jazz to spill this info. Let's see if there's any blowback.
Harry, it just seems really sincere to me. So I'm going to put it out there. I would say that I trust Harry.
I feel like I'm doing him well in the sense that I've got no suspicions around me. You've just got to put on that face. I mean, I just have to go into Harry Faithful mode. And I can visualise myself in the final, and that's all I want, really. To win that money would be great. So I feel like as of now, I'm smashing it.
As far as being on anybody's radar as a traitor, Miles is doing a great job so far with avoiding suspicion. A name that is at the low end of discussions, Miles seems to have adopted a strategy of sitting back. When asked, Miles has mostly avoided saying names but has recently started to give more input.
At the moment, I don't have any idea. It's only because I'm back to ground zero. I have no idea. The reason why I say
Ash doesn't even be mentioned.
Who? Ash. All I'm thinking at the time was to make sure that I don't have any reaction. Someone that's completely not on my radar, so I can't really comment. But yes, what you've said, I've heard. So on my radar at the moment, I feel like Andrew had quite an influence. And then my other one is Anthony.
The recruited traitor has the possibility of being banished purely based on his efforts in helping them win money. More than once in different iterations, contestants have mentioned there being bad faithfuls. Usually it's in regard to misleading their fellow faithfuls when it comes to banishments. The other faithfuls might get annoyed at his contributions and vote him out. That, or they clock on about the murder in plain sight.
You guys keep watching on the right-hand side.
Miles standing on the wall didn't help anyone. Everyone's in different directions, so if you're trying to shout where the spotlight is, it's different for where everyone is. I just think he really couldn't be asked to get his hands dirty.
Miles, the way he's behaving at the moment, there's a respect that you've got to have for the game, there's a respect that you've got to have at being a traitor. And how comfortable do you have to be that you're not going to be murdered to just sit back and tell the entire group, you know, I'm pretty much not going to get involved in this game? Traitor or not, like, that's not being a team player.
But Miles was stood on the wall, just yelling.
It's a bit of a write-off, yeah.
It's like, Miles, get off the wall and get involved.
Yeah, but I don't think he wanted.
He wanted to.
No.
It's like, mate, I'm here to win the money for our team and then get the traitors out, mate.
He's not making an effort on trying, is he?
Very early on, Paul was established as a popular contestant.
My game plan coming in was to win everybody's love and affection, be everyone's friend, and I was voted most popular in the group.
And because of that, Paul's overconfidence nearly led him to a sticky situation.
I was confident because I was voted most popular that I would be saved in the mission over Andrew. I think the dungeon's already been set. Andrew is totally on side, and I think was definitely going to vote for Ash. And then hopefully the guys upstairs, they'll save me. Andrew will be murdered. That would just be magical.
Paul tried to lean upon this information when he sent himself in the dungeon. This overconfidence nearly backfired when the winning team chose to save Andrew instead. If Ash wasn't banished, revealing her as a traitor, it would have been a very interesting breakfast. At some point, suspicion has fallen upon Paul by Anthony, Jazz, Zach, and even Evie, whose name has even appeared on a chalkboard.
I think it could be Paul. Probably going to sort of approach the situation of Paul.
There's so many people really absolutely convinced that Paul's a faithful, but when he walked through the door, I thought, you're a traitor.
Obviously, where you're concerned, Paul, two concrete things come up. Either it's a wonderful double bluff, yeah? Or actually, you know what? You're a faithful. These are two lines you must consider because of what the evidence shows. But it's something that nobody's discussed.
Despite this, most of the contestants don't believe he's a traitor. He escapes suspicion where others in similar circumstances are quickly accused. Look at the situation with Meg. The other contestants were convinced if Meg wasn't murdered, then she was the traitor. But Paul came down for breakfast, and some didn't bat an eyelid. He has definitely charmed enough people to not even be considered, and this is working in his favour. There's two people I think have the opportunity to raise suspicion on Paul: Jazz and Paul himself. He might have made a mistake telling Jazz what Harry told him. Jazz doesn't trust Paul, and it might put Harry on Jazz's radar. If Paul overplays things again, he might slip up.
I get such a dodgy vibe from Paul.
If I've said to Harry, don't tell anyone that I've told you, why would Harry do that? And why would Paul tell me that Harry's done that? And why would Paul not share that information at the round table? It just sounded so suspicious.
Up until episode 6, I thought Harry would last the longest. But even if Jazz clocks on, I don't know if he'll get the numbers to vote Harry out. It's the same situation with Paul. Paul and Harry are very popular, and as long as Miles improves in the challenges, then he'll be okay. But if the opportunity arises again, there will be another instance of a traitor turning on their own. Who do you think is playing the best game? Who do you think will last the longest? Let me know in the comments. See you next time.